that at about 6,000. Got it? Okay, so the engine will typically have a horsepower curve. If it's designed very well, its horsepower curve will be large, it will be linear, but it'll kind of do this, and then it'll start to nose over a little bit. That's what that looks like. Torque curve, you tend to make more torque down here, which is what actually moves the car, but we'll work with horsepower. Well, if we're down here and we've got an engine that's capable of making, we'll say, 300 horse, when we're down here, we might be making 60 horsepower, right? We're not making a lot of horsepower at low RPM. So the torque converter, a low stall torque converter might be 1700 RPM.
What does stall mean? When you can't rev the engine anymore, it's going to start pushing?
1 foot on the brake, 1 on the gas, see how far up the needle goes. That's stall.
Okay.
Right? That's the speed at which the engine can't go, it won't go any further because of the size of the torque converter, the physical diameter, number of vanes, and all that other happy crap has to do with stall. So
you're pushing
a high stall torque converter, and they make torque converters that have 3,500 stall. It's a tiny little thing, right? And you're making a lot more power up high. So when you stomp on the gas with a high stall torque converter, you watch your tach needle go zing, and now all of a sudden you got power up the wazoo.
And then as soon as
right
I
away.
release the brakes, bam, I'm in the power.
Yeah, soon. Well, it doesn't make any difference. You don't even have to release the brakes. You just jam on the throttle, boom, you're smoking the tires. So that's what you do. That's a high stall torque converter. And if you look at when you look at the specs for the torque converter, you'll notice that they tend to get smaller as the stall goes up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it might be an 11 or a 12-inch torque converter, or even a 13-inch torque converter for trucks, and then it goes smaller and smaller and smaller. Pretty soon you're down to like an 8-inch torque converter when you're up around 3,500, 4,000 RPM as your stall. And that's how you get the engine into its power band for racing. The issue with this is overall efficiency. Generally speaking, an automatic transmission of this vintage, you're losing about 15 to 20% of your power through the transmission. It's we would call them slush boxes, right? So they'd be doing a lot of torque multiplication at the expense of fuel economy. And you use torque multiplication to account for the fact that you have less. Don't break it!
It's fine.
It's fine. All right, so anyway, you end up with a lot of slip, and that slip costs you fuel economy. Like when you get to a big old Cadillac with the 4-speed dual range hydromatic transmission, they put a real tall rear end on it, meaning that it is a low numeric ratio rear end, like 229 to 1 or 242 to 1, really low. But then if you want to race, you go up into the 4s, you know, like in my Mustang, I had a 430 gear, probably should have had a 456. It would have actually launched a little bit better. But, you know, so you go with a much higher numeric ratio rear end, and then you run out of steam. Well, in the Cadillac, they put a really tall rear end in it, 4 gears, you'd get off the line pretty quickly, and then when you finally got into 4th, it was the equivalent of an overdrive transmission without it being an overdrive. However, it came at tremendous cost, which was slip within the transmission, which is why those cars get 8 miles to the gallon. So then we decided to build an overdrive transmission that lowered the engine speed even further, and then we used the lock-up torque converter so that this was completely locked like this one is, and you're transmitting all of the engine power out the rear shaft. And that will pick up, roughly 8 to 10% in fuel economy, which is why we can have a big car. I mean, your car, when you're in 6th gear and you're motoring down the freeway, what do you get?
25 to 30.
Right, you know, and that was the exclusive province of 4-cylinder engines not that long ago. So that's how we do what we do. Is it soup yet?
No, but it sounds like an antique bed.
Who's touching who?
I think it's who's zooming home, and that's an Aretha Franklin song.
What's going on over there?
It is an Aretha Franklin.
Okay.
Actually, it looks like that's a ceiling ring, not a retaining.
Grab the one from Chuck so we
What?
can put them side by side.
Oh, yeah.
Hold them the same
I don't know
way.
where Bobby went.
Home.
I hear him.
Oh my God! Look how machined that is.
Yeah.
Well, it's fortunate we had another one. So we're definitely using this one.
Yeah.
No two ways about it.
So
One of the seals.
with this,
Careful. That will drop out. No, I'm talking about this one. Now let's try this one. This one's got a lot more play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So turns out this was the bad one. And this, which looked bad, a lot better. So we'll end up using, this goes on this way. I just was doing it backwards. It goes on like this. This goes in there like that. And then this stays bolted to the transmission. This rotates. So there you go. That's what goes in just that far, isn't it? Well, it was going in. Now it isn't. There we go. All the way in. That's it. Well, we're not going to do that right now because we're working on replacing.
okay.
And this is not 4 inches. So we're going to take this, we're going to compress it ever so slightly, and I'm going to put it in the area which appears to have the greatest amount of wear. Right there. Jiggle it a little bit so I got a decent read. That's not too bad. We'll take a look at this dimension. This is 2.145 is the dimension. It might even be 2.15. Yeah, we'll call it 215. Now, let's measure this one. Now, at where point did I have the greatest wear? Right there, which is equivalent to right here. Now, I didn't have this super tight. Oh, it loosened up. This is almost 2 inches perfect, okay? So this had about 15 thousandths of wear. That tells me even though this looks nasty, this is the better setup. So there's part of me that would say let's replace everything in here, but because this one is damaged, I'm tempted to just leave this one as is and put it back together and go from there. What do you think? I mean, we are doing this on a budget after all, so. Now, I want to point something out to you. This is rather interesting. So how many bolts are there? Okay. Are they evenly spaced?
No.
Why is that?
You can only get it in one position.
That's it. Oh, you can only get it in one position because there happens to be inlets and outlets and reliefs in the stator. So we have to have those things. This is going to all have to be cleaned, which we can do later. We don't have to do it now. This is the good one, right? Looks good to me, right?
Yep, absolutely. That's the bad one over there.
And that goes in here like this. Bolts right up. Oh, I missed it. See, that's not right. So, is that right? No, that's not right. Is that right? No, that's not right. Is that right? That's right. So now we put our screws in. Oh, this still has a seal on it. That's cool. We can seal on it. Got to get it off that screwdriver. Now, actually, before we do this, if I recall correctly, we've got to put bands in the transmission. So we got to do that too. Bands. Pardon? Yeah, these are good. Good bands. I just have to remember which one fits. Well, there's 3 levels of rebuild kits. You can get a rebuild kit, which we got what we bought was a reseal kit, because these ones are good. There's nothing wrong with them. This one's in good shape. And I think actually